Everyone has rough days at work, and NBA referees are no exception, especially in a fast-paced league like the NBA, and an extensive rulebook to keep track of. Mistakes are inevitable, but some missed calls are glaringly obvious that they've gone down in history. From crunch time blunders to NBA Finals controversies, these infamous moments left fans and players stunned. Today we're diving into some of the most notorious blown calls in NBA history. Let's get started. Dirk Nowitzki gets the foul for letting Wade elbow him. In Game 6 of the 2006 NBA Finals, the Dallas Mavericks were fighting to stay alive after losing 3 consecutive games to the Miami Heat, despite winning the first 2 of the series. Dallas showed incredible resilience, with Dirk Nowitzki leading the charge, recording 29 points and 15 rebounds. However, a pivotal moment late in the game proved costly. After sinking a crucial jumper, Nowitzki was called for a controversial blocking foul when Dwyane Wade drove into him with the ball. Replays made the situation clear. As Wade attacked the basket, he extended his forearm into Nowitzki's chest, causing the contact that led to the foul call. Despite Nowitzki's protests, understandable given the circumstances and what some perceived as favorable officiating for Wade throughout the game, the whistle stood. Wade sank the resulting free throws, sealing the victory for Miami and securing their first NBA championship. Jimmy Butler kicking Aaron Gordon in the groin. 17 years after the infamous 2006 Finals, the Miami Heat found themselves at the center of another controversial moment. Did the call work in their favor again? Let's dive in. In Game 5 of the 2023 NBA Finals, the Denver Nuggets faced the Miami Heat with the championship on the line. Leading the series 3-1, Denver was 1 win away from its first ever NBA title. Down by 4 late in the fourth quarter, the Heat were desperately trying to extend their season. That's when Jimmy Butler launched a three-pointer from the right corner, only to fall to the ground with 2 Nuggets players nearby. The whistle blew and the crowd buzzed. But then came the replay. Aaron Gordon, who was called for the foul, didn't make contact with Butler. Instead, it was Butler who extended his leg unnaturally, striking Gordon in the groin. Despite the obvious kick, the referees upheld the foul call after Denver's challenge, granting Butler 3 free throws in a crucial moment. The decision could have shifted momentum, but the Nuggets stayed composed. Led by Finals MVP Nikola Jokic, Denver closed out the game, securing a hard-fought victory and clinching the franchise's first NBA championship. Kevin Durant takes 3 steps out of bounds. In a thrilling game between the Houston Rockets and Golden State Warriors, the Warriors held a commanding 17-point lead at halftime. However, the Rockets clawed their way back into contention thanks to the incredible performance of reigning MVP James Harden. Harden was unstoppable, finishing the night with a stunning triple-double, 44 points, 15 assists, and 10 rebounds, ultimately forcing the game into overtime. During the extra period, the intensity only grew, with 4 lead changes keeping fans on the edge of their seats. With the game tied at 132 and the clock winding down, the Warriors won a crucial jump ball. Kevin Durant, driving to the basket, had the ball stripped away, but managed to maneuver along the baseline to recover and save it. What happened next became one of the game's most controversial moments. In real time, it seemed questionable, but when the TNT broadcast replayed the sequence, it left no room for doubt. With around 30 seconds left, Durant chased the loose ball and took at least 3 steps out of bounds before saving it. He passed it to Klay Thompson, who then found Steph Curry wide open behind the arc. Curry buried the three-pointer, giving Golden State a 134-132 lead with 22.2 seconds remaining. The moment stunned viewers, but the broadcast crew remained silent initially. When the replay aired, play-by-play commentator Mike Breen and co-analyst Reggie Miller couldn't hold back, as the footage clearly showed Durant stepping out of bounds in the near corner, yet the officials allowed play to continue. Despite the controversial non-call, the Rockets stayed composed. Harden capped his sensational night with a clutch step-back three-pointer over 2 defenders, sealing a dramatic 135-134 victory for Houston. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar decisive play. In Game 6 of the 1988 NBA Finals between the Detroit Pistons and the Los Angeles Lakers, the Pistons held a 3-2 series lead and were just 1 win away from securing the championship. Late in the game, Detroit clung to a narrow 102-101 advantage with 27 seconds remaining. Unsurprisingly, the Lakers turned to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for a decisive play. Matched up against Bill Laimbeer, who was playing with 5 fouls, Abdul-Jabbar attempted his signature sky hook. The shot missed, but the whistle blew, and Laimbeer was called for a foul, a decision that sparked immediate controversy. The so-called phantom foul remains a decisive moment. Some argue Laimbeer maintained verticality and avoided significant contact, while others claim there was enough to justify the call. Regardless, the outcome was pivotal. Abdul-Jabbar sank both free throws, giving the Lakers the lead. They went on to win the game and ultimately the championship, defeating the Pistons in 7 games. Marcus Camby fouls Steve Nash from 10 feet away. The exact reason behind Joey Crawford's call in Game 5 of the Western Conference first round between the Phoenix Suns and Portland Trail Blazers remains a mystery. The incident occurred in the third quarter as Steve Nash dribbled near midcourt. While making a pass, Crawford called a foul on Marcus Camby, who was standing at least 10 feet away from the action. The broadcast team speculated the foul must have involved off-ball contact. However, replays showed minimal interaction, and Crawford explicitly directed Nash to take free throws. This wasn't a case of mistaken identity either. There was no one near Nash when the whistle was blown. No matter the angle, the call doesn't make any sense. Morris Peterson foul call. Players being ejected for showing affection toward each other might seem absurd, but for some NBA referees, it's just another call. In 2006, during a game between the New Jersey Nets and the Toronto Raptors, Vince Carter found himself in the middle of such a bizarre incident. The matchup was naturally intense, with Carter, a former Raptors superstar, facing his old team in Toronto. Before becoming the only NBA player to play 22 seasons across 4 decades, Carter was the face of the Raptors, earning the nickname Air Canada. His time in Toronto was arguably his most celebrated, during which he formed strong bonds with teammates, including Morris Peterson. Even after Carter's departure to the Nets, their friendship remained intact. During the game, Carter playfully slapped Peterson on the face during a dead ball late in the second quarter. Peterson, understanding it was all good fun, responded by lightly smacking Carter on the back of the head. However, referee Steve Javie didn't find the humor in it. Unaware of Carter's initial slap, Javie only saw Peterson's retaliation and immediately assessed him a technical foul. Peterson, visibly frustrated and believing the call unjust, reacted emotionally, yelling at Javie. This outburst earned him a second technical foul, leading to his ejection. As replays revealed, the two players were clearly joking around, but Javie, unaware of their close friendship, had already made his decision. Joey Crawford commits the foul. The Pistons ultimately won the game, so the incident didn't change the series outcome, but Joey Crawford came dangerously close to changing the course of the 2005 Eastern Conference Finals with a pair of controversial mistakes. With Detroit leading by 3 and fewer than 20 seconds remaining, Crawford sprinted down the court and accidentally collided with Miami Heat guard Damon Jones, forcing Jones out of bounds. In the chaos, Crawford blew his whistle and inexplicably called a foul on Pistons guard Chauncey Billups, who was nearby but uninvolved in the collision. Billups didn't argue the call, he seemed too shocked to react, instead standing with his arms outstretched and a bewildered smile, as if trying to process how he'd been penalized for merely being in the vicinity. The Heat were awarded possession, and the bizarre sequence could have shifted the momentum entirely in Miami's favor. Thankfully for the Pistons, their defensive composure and experience allowed them to hold on for the win, avoiding what might have been a historic officiating blunder. Tim Duncan gets tossed for laughing. Joey Crawford makes another appearance, and this time, his costly mistake resulted in a $100,000 fine. During a regular season game between the Spurs and Mavericks, Tim Duncan took a break on the San Antonio bench in the third quarter. For reasons still debated, Duncan let out a laugh, which immediately drew the attention of Crawford. Without much hesitation, Crawford assessed Duncan 2 technical fouls, resulting in the Hall of Famer's ejection from the game. What exactly transpired between Crawford and Duncan remains a point of contention. Duncan later claimed Crawford had challenged him to a fight, while Crawford asserted that Duncan was directing expletives his way and mocking his foul calls. In addition to his $100,000 fine, Crawford was suspended for the remainder of the season. The NBA also fined Duncan $25,000 for verbal abuse of an official. Even the officials say the 2002 Western Conference Finals were rigged. Most people agree that the idea of referees intentionally fixing playoff games for a desired outcome is a myth. However, the 2002 Western Conference Finals challenged that belief, with the Sacramento Kings leading the LA Lakers 3-2 in the best-of-7 series, and just 1 win away from their first ever conference title. They suddenly faced a highly questionable officiating display. The Lakers, who had only taken 13 free throws through the first 3 quarters, entered the fourth quarter tied. In the final 12 minutes, they took an additional 27 free throws. Meanwhile, Kobe Bryant elbowed Mike Bibby in the face with no call, while Kings players seemed to draw fouls at every opportunity. For instance, Vlade Divac was shoved by Shaquille O'Neal without receiving a foul. This game became central to disgraced referee Tim Donaghy's claim that officials manipulated outcomes. In a letter submitted by his attorneys, Donaghy argued that 2 of the 3 referees heavily favored the Lakers to extend the series to a 7th game. After seeing these, you might be wondering, is that even possible? Fortunately, there's evidence to support them. Which of these calls do you find the most shocking?